Listen carefully. Some people tell on themselves. My therapist told me this, and it was about a year ago, and we were talking about my ex who was a narcissist. And she was actually commenting on when he accused me of certain things. It was because he actually was doing them. And that I should pay attention in the future if someone accused me of something that they had no reason to accuse me of, like something kind of out of the blue, because it probably could be a sign that they were doing it. It was a form of projection. But I also realized that can happen with questions, and I'm going to tell you what I mean. So on Facebook, there's been this question that's popped up maybe 3 or 4 times that I've seen, and it's not a new question. And the question said, "Women, why can't you keep a man?" Now, I responded to this question, and I said, my life isn't centered around keeping a man. That's definitely not my or any woman's job. And as far as having had men, I spent 35 years in relationships, 17 of them married, so I definitely have nothing to prove. Posts like this sound very old-fashioned to me. Many women have keeping a man at the bottom of their priority list, if it's there at all. And so I went on about my business, but then it actually occurred to me, oh my gosh, maybe the reason that this is such a common question that men have is because they do keep women. They do have methods of keeping women. And it kind of made me think about that song, "I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. If I have to beg and plead for your sympathy, I don't mind, because you mean that much to me. Ain't too proud to beg." So that's, of course, an old song, but I was thinking about that thread that was up a while ago, and it was kind of something about when you realize you hate your girlfriend. And on that thread, which was going all over Twitter and all over TikTok, these men were saying all of these things about hating their girlfriend, but they were also talking about the things they did to keep her, even though they didn't like her. And they might give her a shut up ring, a ring, a promise ring, basically to shut her up that something was going to come in the future, a engagement ring or whatever. They might, give her a gift, give her flowers, take her on a date, have some, clap the cheeks, whatever. But the point is, they knew she was frustrated, angry, disappointed, hurt, betrayed, whatever it was. But they had all of these methods of keeping her. And, when I wrote my second memoir, Plenty of Guppies and Other Dating Misadventures, The Perfect Storm, at the back of the book, it has an index, a 3-page index with 80 manipulative techniques and their effects. And there's so many in there. If you think about all of the manipulative techniques that a person can play on you, there are generally only 2 reasons why they do it. One is to get you, and the other is to keep you. So they may gaslight you. They may minimize what you're saying as a concern and maximize what they feel they're doing. They may blame shift. One of the ones that I learned that was so life-changing was the Darvo technique. When a woman or a person says something, the person who's being confronted will deny and accuse the other person of something and reverse victim and offender. That's Darvo. So there's so many techniques, but the point is, almost all of these techniques are either there to get you or keep you. So when men ask the question, why can't you keep a man? You could take it as, why aren't you as good at manipulating men to stay as we are? Why aren't you as good at using these techniques to throw, us off the trail like we are with you? Why aren't you as good as we are at all of these things that we do to keep you believing certain things, to keep you accepting less than you deserve, to keep you locked into what we want you to do, and us to not have to contribute? That could be weaponized incompetence, learned helplessness. Why haven't you figured out how to keep us in our place like we keep you in your place? So it really was like this huge epiphany that question is literally a man telling on himself, that he feels that he has a lot of ways to keep a woman, to keep her in her place, to keep her in the dark, to keep her in communication with him, to keep her in a relationship with him. And it even goes back to a post I saw recently, and it was saying, "Man, you don't have to accept her rejection." And he was going over how you could bring up insecurities in her to make her feel like she had to prove herself to you, so that you flip the rejection on her. It's the old sour grapes thing. There's that Aesop's fable about the fox that wanted some grapes, and so he's jumping and jumping and jumping to get the grapes, and he can never get them. And so finally he says, "Oh, they were probably sour and wormy." So it's a way of kind of discounting the value of the grapes because he can't have them. But he had kind of put a new spin on this to where, you were supposed to try to pique her interest in what she might be missing out on. And, of course, I think that this would rarely work, if it ever did work, because if a person's not interested in you, they're not interested in you, So, but anyway, the point is, as I was saying, this question, why can't you keep a man, tells on the person who asked it. It tells that they actually feel that you can do things to keep a person against their will. And they actually feel that consent